Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so today we're going to be talking about Alliance Quest, and I'm going to be trying to be as encompassing as I can here. So not too long ago we had a change of seasons, and with that we had a change of nodes in total. So my Alliance personally is playing map 7, as I'm sure many of yours are as well, or it's actually not quite as much about which map in this case. We're going to be talking more about these global mutant nodes. Well, the global modifiers here are like the cascading failure for today, but I'm talking about the nodes that put accent on mutant champions, because previously we had some classes get attack bonus, some classes get attack penalties, whatever, and now we had this new positive spin to it, where basically no champions are getting penalized, but mutant and or X-Men champions are getting significant buffs. So I started to ponder earlier today whether it's actually working, whether it has been a good change, and that definitely kind of like got me suspicious. And we're gonna get to the conclusions to the end, and there's gonna be quite a bit of data. I actually made a poll as well, so definitely stay tuned till the very end of this video. And if you will like what you see, then please do me a favor, smash that like button and smash that sub button. Get this video shared about with your alliance, let them comment on it, and perhaps give me some more insight in the issue, because if this video does well, I will carry on doing these for like every upcoming week, so we can finally definitively have like a top AQ map 7 meta drawing, because currently Alliance Quest is quite vague. I get a lot of videos and I get a lot of questions and comments asking for help with Alliance Quest map 7. Truth to be told is I can't really do that as easily, because I don't get to play every single map and I don't have any idea what everybody's bringing in. But now we're going to be changing that. And back to the main point of the video. Right. So we have these mutant nodes specifically buffing mutant champions. So one would naturally conclude, if we can, well, call this season a success, these mutant nodes to be well balanced and all other things included, then we should see a lot of mutant champions in AQ. And that is pretty much the thing that got me thinking that perhaps it's not working, because I hadn't noticed a big influx of myself bringing in a lot of mutant champions. And then I quickly took a look at around my alliance, my battle group, and I didn't see a lot of mutant champions at all. So that is exactly where we're gonna head down to now. So I'm not gonna show any more in-game stuff. So what I did here, it's quite simple. I did take screenshots of every single battle group, and with that, I just marked down what every single player brought in per battle group, and yeah, put it in a table, because I kind of like data. So either way, after putting it in table, we have our clear leaders, we have our clear favorites, and by far still the biggest problem that Kabam allegedly has tried to address for quite a long time now already has been reliance on Card's Glaive, and they haven't. Out of 30 people involved in Map 7 in AQ from ASR Alliance, 23 have brought in Corvus Glaive. Well, actually, it's 22 because one guy brought in 2, but still. So, Corvus is more than doubling the numbers the next more popular champion's putting up, and the next more popular champion is Human Torch, and in this week I suspect it's pretty much only because of Magneto House of X mini boss, because Human Torch is pretty much one of the very few decent counters to that fight, and we could see pretty much an even distribution, I believe, in every single battle group of 2-3 Human Torches to deal with that. We can see 2, 3, and 4. So that's definitely just to kind of like deal with the mini bosses. And then we have Ghost, Black Widow, Clairvoyant seems to be quite up there, quite popular, Guillotine, and anything that's below that, I can't really draw reliable conclusions, because Alliance Quest is very specific, and here is the reason why it is so important for you guys to help me help all of us. It does take quite a bit of time to gather all of this data, but AQ changes day to day. What you bring in and what can be used and what is going to be popular will always depend on what kind of global nodes we have, what kind of modifiers we have, what variation of Alliance Quest we have, so on and so forth. So we can get much better insight to full kind of like concrete Alliance Quest meta if we carry on expanding on the start that I have made here. But that again takes a lot of time, so if you guys can please do me the favor, hit that sub button and hit that like button, and yeah, share the video about it. Right, but perhaps there's even more visual way how I can illustrate the main point of this video and what is happening in Alliance Quest. And I'm doing that by class once again. So we have 90 champions basically brought in a single day of Alliance Quest. That means if we have 6 classes, if there would be an average representation of each class, that means you should hit about 15. So you can see that Tech, for instance, has 14 champions brought in, and that is just below what well, mathematical average would be for like perfectly evenly represented class. Then we can see that well, Cosmic, mainly thanks to Corvus, because remember 23 of these points are coming from Corvus, is running away with it, and then overall we have Science coming in as second most used class from this small data sample, data pool. And unfortunately, Mutant as such only got brought in 9 times, and I think most of those were like Havoc, Sunspots, and what were other ones? Havoc, Sunspot, Magneto, House of X got 2. Oh, there is an Iceman, and yeah, that's about it. Havoc, Sunspot, Iceman, Magneto, House of X. They're pretty much the only mutants that got brought in, I think. So it's quite bleak for such a dominant and overpowered class. And yeah, we can definitely see that despite Mutant being recognized by most players as the best class in the game, and the amount of crap I took when I ranked Science ahead, and despite that, and also despite the entire set of nodes being designed around and for Mutant champions, Mutant class is second least represented class in Alliance Quest for ASR for this specific day of Alliance Quest. Now, there definitely will be a bunch of you who say, like, that's just one day data pool sample, that's just one alliance in map 7, and what have you. Fair enough. As I said, I'd love to carry on getting more data samples and inputting this information, but I will need your help to do that. But I did another thing, and I actually posted a poll about 4 or 5 hours ago from now, and we can see that it has nearly 2,000 votes in it, and the results are pretty consistent. I do suspect that there are some obviously map differences as well, and I can't promise and guarantee that only map 6 or 7 players have voted on it. But we can see that at community at large, 50%, which is by far the biggest amount of players, don't bring in a single Mutant champion in Alliance Quest. And then we have 25% with 1, 11, and 14. But here's the thing as well. As I said, I can't promise or guarantee that only map 6 or 7 players have voted in this poll. And seeing that it got 2,000 replies in a few hours' time, I probably suspect that's not the case. And if there is an influx of Mutant champions, then it will definitely be in lower maps, because up to map 5, you can pretty much bring in whoever you want. Map 6 is where you kind of start selecting specific counters, and map 7 takes that to extreme, where you have very few counters for each specific node combination in each section. So I do suspect that overall, in community at large, if you're playing like map 5 or below, you probably see a lot better mutant class representation and probably a bit more even distribution and less Corvuses and things like that. But when it comes to map 6 and map 7, then there is this huge change, because if my alliance personal data has shown me anything, is that if you have these very niche, very specific nodes that have only a handful of counters to max, then it doesn't really matter how good of a buffs or incentives you give, in this case specifically to mutant champions. It just doesn't matter. You have a boss that directly basically counters mutants in Apocalypse, because he would start with like max charges, and not a single mutant champion is really like a great matchup for Apocalypse. You have a mini boss who has 2 or 3 counters specifically, and then all of these lanes require very, very specific set of immunities or ability kits. And then, as much as somebody wants to push the mutant agenda here in Marvel Contest Champions, it just doesn't matter at that point anymore, because the nodes are too specific, nodes are too niche and restrictive, and then there are huge major pain in the ass bosses and mini bosses. And so I must conclude that current Alliance Quest season, when it comes to higher tier of alliances, it definitely is a fail from a sense of trying to encourage people to use more mutant champions, let's say. Definitely has failed that. We can see that hardly any mutants are getting brought in for like map 7 alliance. And on top of that, here is even more interesting thought, because I actually prefer this to what it used to be, because currently, fair enough, none of my champions that I bring in will get any bonuses from these special nodes, because I don't bring in mutants for most part. But at the very least, I will not have to go through 2-3 weeks in a row where champions that I want to bring receive attack penalty, which was quite often a horrible kind of feeling when you need to bring in, let's say, Dr. Voodoo for Acid Wash because you don't have any other good counters for that lane, and you have to fight with minus 40% attack. So even though I think the whole point and the whole agenda of pushing mutant champions more in Alliance Quest at large has failed, especially when it comes to higher tier maps and higher tier alliances, I still think overall just the fact that we don't have those attack penalties works out better. So it's difficult to find metaphor there, but effectively they have replaced something that was actively harmful to something that many people just don't care about. And might not be the best improvement, but it is better than it was nonetheless. Right, all that being said, let me know what you guys think about Alliance Quest. Has the AQ season mutant effort been successful? Or most importantly, would you guys want to see more of these videos and perhaps eventually this spreadsheet made public so you guys can see exactly which champions are more popular in Alliance Quest Map 7? And if you want that to happen, well, I already told you twice what you have to do. Right, either way, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and if you have, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the